so let's start with some fire. This is the first element, and we're gonna do some sun salutations to ignite our body and just get ready for the rest of today's flow. Let's begin by flipping our palms so that our fingers are going towards our knees, and then going into a cat-cow cycle a couple of times. Bringing the chest forward, and then just sucking everything in and stretching that spine. Doing that a couple more times. And then now we're just gonna rise back into a downward facing dog. You're just pedaling out your feet, like feeling your hamstrings stretch. And then now hop forward, some energy starting to build up, and you're just hanging here, knees are bent, and then halfway lift, back straight, coming back down before rolling up into a standing. And we're gonna do a stretch for either side, left hand across or either way, stretching the side body, and then now we're switching sides. And then we're just gonna come back down into a hopping chaturanga. So a lot more energy than like a normal sun salutation, I feel like. I like to always be more like active in the morning when I wake up, just so I don't want to go back to bed. And then now we're rolling back and then into a plank. Now we're going to repeat this entire cycle, starting from the downward facing dog, jumping forward into the fold, and then we're going to go into a halfway lift, coming back down and rolling up. We're not going to do a side stretches, we're just going to jump down into that chaturanga, strengthening the arms, coming back, and into a child's pose, just really quickly. And then here we're just gonna do some wild thing. This pose has many names, also called rock star, whichever one. Maybe rock star fits the whole fire theme more. And now we're coming back into a plank position, and you're going to allow your other leg to stretch back, and then drop and rise into a wild thing. Coming back to plank, center, core tight. We're going to jump forward and roll back. Just repeating that cycle again, coming into a plank and then downward facing dog. Last time. Hop forward and then fold, knees are bent, hamstrings are feeling it, and then we're going to halfway lift, and then we're going to come down and roll all the way. Ending our fire segment, we're just going to do that rolling sequence again. Chaturanga first, back into child's pose, and then downward dog. Relaxing a little bit at the end of the segment, jumping forward, rolling back, and coming back up into a plank. Just relax a bit near the end, and we're going to be moving on to our next element. Water.
I'll be outside if you're man enough to fight me.
Alrighty, so to begin this part, we're going to be in a downward facing dog first. Coming up, bringing the left leg forward and into a warrior two. So this is a very wide stance, making sure the knee doesn't go beyond the ankle. We're stretching back and forward. You can go into some Tai-chi moves after this, and yeah, I hope you like them. So now we're just going to come into a toy la. So we're pushing and pulling energy here. And it's a very fluid motion. Try not to be too choppy. And we're coming all the way across and doing it on the other side. And here on the third one, watch closely, because my front hand comes across and then up into a goddess pose. So this pose is to stretch out the hips and to make everything more open, basically. And we're moving into like a sidekick stretch. I did some taekwondo and that's what they called it, but it really helps stretch out the inner thigh and hip area as well. Moving to the other side. Of course, if you can't do it too low, you can stay up and just stretch it out from there. That's totally fine. And now we're going to move back into downward facing dog and into that Tai Chi flow again. So right leg back this time, and then forward into a warrior two. We're moving forward and back, stretching out the sides of the body and the shoulder arm area. A couple times, allowing it to flow. And then now center, we're going to do the toy last. That means heel comes up, you're pulling, and then you're pushing. You're feeling the energy. It's strong, but it's not choppy. And then now the front hand comes all the way over and we're doing the other side. Making sure your knee is bent when you're coming back. Really feeling the stabilization in the glutes. All right, now we're coming to the center. And we're going to do some more Tai-Chi. This is very flowy, I have to say. Moving to the right. Arm comes up. And then now we're going forward, almost like we're redirecting lightning. And then center. So now other arm comes forward. And we're swinging them across the body and bringing the leg up to the front arm. And then we're doing a very lightning-esque, Ira would be proud, doing it a couple more times. So just flow through it. Doesn't need to be perfect, but it really helps, me de-stress. And now coming across again, leg up, balancing, and then shooting forward. And now just 2 more times. Across, swing, leg up, and then energizing one way, and now we're coming back the other way. Other arm swings around, bring the leg up, and then energize. Alright, now that is the water segment.
There's no different angle, no clever solution, no trickety trick that's gonna move that rock. You've gotta face it head on. I mean like this. Whoa!
So moving on to earth, we're going to be doing some more active poses, more kung fu inspired. So we're in the center in like a horse stance, and then coming across in like a curtsy lunge and swinging the arms across, and then in a lunge to the other side, punching, chair pose here, fists in the air, grounding, back to the center. Now other side, curtsy lunge, and then do that, and then punch. That wasn't very descriptive, and then back to the center. So I'm calling it curtsy lunge, but really we're just bring the other leg behind and crossing it, and just being very low and grounded. Now doing the other side, really energizing when you're punching, and then coming to the center again. There's kind of a rotation when you're punching with the hip from the curtsy lunge, so really use that to your advantage here, like really train that strength. You're going to do it one more cycle, coming around, punching, chair, and then center again, looking where you are directing your energy. Never mind, we're doing it one more time, so yeah. Really, your knees should always be bent. It really helps engage all the muscles in your legs and lower body, so you'll thank me later, and good job!
I'm really glad you guys all live here now. I realized it's like the hermit crab. Maybe you weren't born here, but you found this empty shell and made it your home. And now you protect each other.
That means a lot, coming from you.
Now for air. Gonna do some more opening moves. So are you ready? I seem very excited here, so you should be excited as well. Let's first loosen it up with some cool dance moves. Then we're gonna get started in a plank pose. And then bringing the right leg up and through into a crescent lunge. Looking up, stretching through the hip flexor on the left leg, and then coming into a low lunge, continuing that stretch. Twisting here, just feeling out your body. And then we're going to come back up eventually, or just stay here for a little bit. And then we're gonna come up into a warrior one. So that means hips are still square, but now we're on the heel of the other foot. And now we're coming up into warrior three, balancing. Really energizing through the heel on both legs and coming down, kicking, and we're gonna go back into a side plank. You can lift the other leg if you're really feeling spicy today, or you can just do a normal side plank. Coming back in downward facing dog, you're gonna bring the other leg up. Really focus on the space you're creating and what you're doing by like opening up your body. That's what air is about. It's about freedom, it's about expression. So really have fun with this segment. And doing the low lunge here, opening the hip flexor. You can be higher up than me, like do whatever is right for your level of flexibility. Coming into warrior one, stretching here, really feeling the energy going upwards and into a warrior three. Toes are pointed down to your mat, really stabilizing through your grounded leg, picking up and then moving back into a side plank. And here again you have the option to lift your other leg and do some more strengthening, really feeling it in the bottom hip when I do this. And then we're going to come back down into a plank and then chaturanga into upward facing dog, opening up the chest and shoulders and into a child's pose for a moment. Now we're just going to do some clasps and opening. So just coming up, clasping the hands and opening the chest, coming back down, and now we're gonna kick up into our feet. This kind of makes me think that I'm being suspended in midair, if that even makes sense. And just staying here for a little bit, coming down, arms. We're gonna reach our right arm through, holding our left leg and crossing our body. So this is like a twist with a twist, if that makes sense. And we're just trying to stretch out your IT bend on the leg that you are holding. And now swinging down gently, we're coming back, belly to the ground, hand reaches over, stretching that IT band, and letting the other arm just fall to the ground and relaxing here. And now we're going to swing that left leg that we were holding down and coming onto our backs, onto the mat. We're first going to do a bridge as a warm-up for the wheel pose that's going to be coming. So lift your hips up into the air and make space for your shoulders in a clasp under your back. So really feeling the shoulder stretch. I love this one. For some reason, I always have sore shoulders. And now we're coming into a wheel pose. Arms back, lifting up. You can come up onto your tippy toes if you'd like. And here I attempt a one-legged wheel. I only do it on one side because it's kind of hard, but you can experiment and just have some fun with this last pose we're going to do. As you can see, I do the one leg. I try to do the second leg, but man, that is hard. So I don't. Now coming down safely, you want to come down like shoulders first, not head first, of course. And then now we're just going to lay here for a final breathing and rest. And now as you rest here, I would like to read you a quote by Uncle Iroh. Pride is not the opposite of shame, but its source. True humility is the only antidote to shame. And I hope you will go on and live your day with humility, happiness, and health, both mentally and physically.